YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. And Fat Jack Ross, handicapper to the stars, joins us as part of Show Me the Money. Bet $50 at the Vegas Style Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook. Play award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club for $40. Fat Jack Ross, Fat Jack Sports on the Out of Bounds Show. Fat Jack Ross, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Doing great. We actually swept the board on Sunday, so that was great. And won again Monday night, so it's hard to screw that up. You take that $50 out there at the casino and do pretty much anything you want with it in the sports book, and you would have won on Sunday. We did have a losing Saturday, but the selections won. All this is posted at fatjacksports.com under the results tab, so you don't have to trust me for any of it. It's all there. When you get picks, they are immediately posted after the game with wins and losses are all there for you to see. So, but yeah, big week last week. Players props won again. Soccer won again. UFC won again. So great week and excited about this week. We did lose last night. Unfortunately, I want to apologize to my clients for even releasing the game. What a horrible game to even have to watch. We should probably not play cricket or something instead. But yeah, we had people were on. I didn't have Denver, though. I just had over and ended up being a loser. But players props did well again, and long weekend to go. And as I said, we had won on Monday, so off to a good start this week and ready for a big weekend.
All right, what about college football? Is there a game? Is there one of the bigger games? I know you find off the beaten path games, and that's where y'all also make your hay. But is there a top 25 matchup or a team in the top 25 that you've looked at going into tonight or tomorrow where you and your team are like, I like that game?
For sure, yeah. Last week I gave you Texas, and as long as you bet Texas up to, 15 minutes before the game, you won. It was 2.5 all week long. We released it on Wednesday last week against Vanderbilt, and it didn't go to 3 until Saturday morning, about 9:30 at most casinos, and then I think moved to 3.5, even a couple spots. That's a bad beat if you got that, but don't wait till 5 minutes before the game. I mean, when you see the money coming in on one side, let's go ahead and bet it at 2.5, especially when we're at key numbers. This week, a similar spot. You have a lower-ranked team that's favored over a higher-ranked team at home. That has been a really nice trend. Not only am I getting the better team, I'm getting a lot of trends that match me up with the winning side there as well. BYU going to West Texas to play the Red Raiders. I've talked about Texas Tech a bunch. They are definitely the type of team that the players playing for them are not Red Raider players. They're not from El Paso or New Mexico or, going over trying to get a shot at D1. These are Georgia athletes, Alabama athletes, LSU athletes that are being paid to play. They've gone to West Texas to bring a title out there. I'm not sure they get there, but there's good value with them because their only loss was with their backup quarterback. Other than that, they're undefeated both straight up and against the spread. Lower-ranked teams favored at home over higher-ranked teams are on a 19-5 run against the spread. They're 8-1 this year against the spread, and last week they were 2-0 with Texas and Utah being home favorites, lower-ranked against higher-ranked teams. I get a great defense, one of the top 5 in the country, far and away the best defense in the Big 12, and I think I'm getting the better team in the Big 12. It is a lot of points. We're double digits and moving up. Try to get it at 10 if you can. Those key numbers do matter, as Longhorn fans found out last week. It can matter, but I think I'm getting the right side and actually a pretty good number. If they had their quarterback, they were undefeated. They're giving 2 touchdowns or more. So I like Texas Tech minus the points.
Fat Jack Ross, fatjacksports.com. What's going on at fatjacksports.com this weekend?
I mean, everything. Right? Soccer going, players props going, UFC going, obviously college and pro football, basketball. Basketball not off to a great start to this point, but that's actually pretty typical. You can, early in the year, you get, just like in football, you get the NIL, you get transfers, everybody's starting new players. So we price accordingly, and I give you a recommended betting guide, which tells you exactly what to do with the plays. And we always start slower in basketball on how much you're betting because of the variance and because of the volatility. Those numbers get dialed in as we get more data, and then we take off almost every single year. So if you go look at the results, have a look at the hoops, don't let that affect you one way or the other. You're paying about $10 a week for those plays, and they're free if you
Nice.
go with a longer package, and that's all built in because there is more variance at the start of the year with new players across the country. Makes sense, right? I mean, you got new guys, you got to figure out how they're going to play together, similar to football, but even more importantly with the players. Everything else is dialed in and winning. Those player props have won 6 out of the last 7 weeks, and everything else turned into great profit this year. So we're excited about this week in college and the NFL as well.
I got to stay in college. He is Fat Jack Ross, FatJackSports.com. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Show is powered by Pearl River Resort and the Golden Moon Casino Vegas-style sportsbook. All right, locally, Georgia will be there tomorrow, or later today, but tomorrow morning. We call it the Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary game because it's an 11 a.m. kick. But Georgia at Mississippi State, Fat Jack, is 9.5 too many?
I think, history tells us it's too many. Now, Mississippi State might turn the ball over 4 times and they're going to get blown out. I mean,
Right.
Georgia, you can't make a ton of mistakes. So it's not one of those, let's push all of our chips in on Mississippi State. But when you look at Mississippi State, and really Kentucky's in this same kind of mold, but Mississippi State even more so. So they're 9-1 against the spread their last 10. They've covered 5 in a row at home. They kind of muddy things up. We're not talking about Mississippi State winning the national championship, but when you talk about cash and tickets, you're going to find very few teams doing better than 90% right now over the last 10. So it's good value at home, getting all those points against a great team. Georgia is not one of those teams that covers a bunch, especially against inferior teams. They're 6-14 against the spread their last 20 games. So I'm probably a don't play it, but if you make me play it, it's Mississippi State or nothing because they are great value. They are at home. There's reasons to believe they'll keep this close, but I don't like Georgia is stingy. They are good on defense. They take the ball away. If Mississippi State turns it over even twice,
Right.
they have a danger of not covering. 3, they definitely don't. 2, they have a danger of that. And against Georgia, that's not that far out of the realm of possibility. So it's either a Mississippi State or don't play it. Another one to kind of in that spot, but I think a team might be on upset alert. Texas A&M going to Missouri. This is the right type of matchup if you want to give Texas A&M some problems. They're not good defensively. They give up a bunch of points. They do score a bunch of points too, but they're going to play a backup quarterback with Missouri, but a really good defense, especially at home. A&M only covering 4 of their last 13 games. Missouri really good against the spread, 9-3 against the spread, 9-3-1 actually over their last 13. So I think A&M has better show up and not turn the ball. We talk about turnovers, especially in the SEC this time of year. They had better take care of their business there. And the other one that's kind of on upset alert for me, Auburn, with all the problems going on there, they're going to play Vanderbilt. I played against Vandy last week, and we got there because I gave it out early. I think Auburn is a pesky team that is not going to quit. They've got quarterback issues, obviously, but it's a letdown spot for Vandy. I mean, this is a team from the penthouse to the outhouse. They go lose at Texas and really wasn't as close as the final score. Now they got to go home and get up for an Auburn team that looks like they're in total disarray. I think this is a really close, big one to watch if you're liking underdogs. I like Auburn plus the points there.
All right, so you may get a little interim boost with DJ Durkin and Auburn going to Vanderbilt. This is Fat Jack Ross, FatJackSports.com, on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Real quick, LSU at Bama, another interim coach. Frank Wilson, he hadn't coached yet. They took a week off. They fired Brian Kelly, blah, blah, blah. Alabama's laying 9.5. Do you see anything there, Fat Jack?
Yeah, Auburn's not good against the number under Kelly for sure. They're 1-4 against the spread their last 5. They're not scoring a bunch of points. The offense looks lost. You do get an interim coach bump, though. I've talked about this a lot this week because you get it this time of year. I give credit Evan Cohen, who does the ESPN Morning National Show out of New York. I've been going on with him since he was a young kid in West Palm Beach, and he's a horrible gambler, but it definitely came up with this. He's the worst I've ever seen. But I'll tell you, and I told him that to his face. We're good friends, actually. But he came up with this interim coach bump theory, so I've been watching that for about 20 years, and it does work. Not when they move on because we're looking. The Memphis coach may take the Arkansas job. That type of thing doesn't really apply. But when they fire their head coach, you do get, or the quarterback for that matter, a backup quarterback, same thing. You do get a circle the wagons, good effort a lot of times out of a team who's now lost their head coach. So don't undervalue that. There is some value there. I would have similar to the Georgia game. LSU goes and turns it over, they're going to get beat 34-10.
Sure.
Nobody's going to be surprised. But you will get that bump. A better one, Indiana, if you're looking for a big kind of comfortable favorite. I don't think, Penn State, if they were going to get a bump, they would have already gotten it. Indiana is the class of the Big Ten, in my opinion, right now. But all those teams we're looking at and saying, who have you beaten? I mean, even Ohio State, who's their best win? I mean, this is a conference that's now cannibalizing each other for the most part, and we don't know how good they actually are when they get in the deep end of the pool this year. And frankly, Notre Dame's in that same thing. Notre Dame starts 0-2, and now they're beating bad teams. Everybody's decided that they're Notre Dame again. Who knows? We're going to find out because we know what the SEC is. These are good teams that are every week being challenged. And this is, I'm not an SEC. I guess I probably am. I'm from Oklahoma. But anyway, I probably do have a little bias. But the point is, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm trying to make money here.
You're
and
damn
I do
right.
think that Indiana is the class of the Big Ten. They're playing a Penn State team, even though it's on the road, that they're going to score points against just about everybody. I think it's a tough spot for Penn State. I'd lay the points, play Indiana at home before I would play Alabama.
Okay. FatJackSports.com. He joins us on the Out of Bounds show. All right, Fat Jack, let's go to the NFL. You don't have to give out your number one because people may need to be, buying the deal, but maybe you don't have maybe we don't get the bone-in ribeye pick, but what about a 10-ounce filet pick?
Bo, you're not if guys are out there with the ink pen in hand writing down free plays, they're never going to consistently make money. I don't have any problem giving away what I think are quality plays to you and your great listeners because I know long term I'm going to win. Go follow me at FatJackSports on TikTok. You're about hitting about 80% on those free winners. And so you can make a little money. But unless you're consistently building profit with consistent winning plays, there's not enough T-bone steaks I can give you on the air to consistently make you money if you're going to go out and bet your own stuff anyway.
That's right.
So I tell people, get signed up. It's not that expensive. But a couple that I am looking at this week, don't play false favorites. We talked about this last week. Teams that are favored that are really bad on one side of the ball or the other. So if they're bad defensively, they don't need to be laying points to anybody in the NFL. If they're bad offensively, same thing. The Chicago Bears don't need to be a favorite against anybody. Can't stop the run, bad on defense. They're an auto bet to the over almost every single week because their offense, Caleb Williams, is kind of falling into line, playing a little bit better. The game's slowing down for him. I like the Giants there. They've now kind of gotten over the Scadaboo injury. They'll expect them to play better. Another one, Buffalo. They're going to Miami. I don't know that I could walk up right now and play a dime on Miami. They have at times this year, a little bit like we saw in Las Vegas last night, at times they will put it together and things will click. And I do think Buffalo is much worse on defense this year than they have been in the past and don't have a lot of quality wins either. But I like Buffalo there minus the points. And you've got a bunch of those type games where you're going to have underdogs. Look underdogs for the most part. Over favorites this week in the NFL. We had a huge favorite week 2 weeks ago, 11-3 favorites not only won but covered. This last week it reverted back to what it normally is. You had underdogs outperforming favorites. You had unders outperforming overs. Look for that to continue again this week.
All right. Fat Jack Ross, FatJackSports.com.
We're ready for the weekend, right? All we got to do now is get signed up and start winning. But we've got the basic game plan. Now we got to find these specific winners, which you can get for $149 on the website, or add all those other plays that have been really, really good, including the player props that have won every week this year except one. So great time to get signed up, great time to win, a great time to be a football fan in America.
I love it. Hey, we appreciate it. Have a great weekend, my man.
All right, brother. Have a good week, Bo. See you soon.
Whoops. All right. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. That hit was brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen. Now, Jackson and I were talking about, and Wes, we're talking about all the fabulous food there. I want to go over some of the sandwiches again because it was National Sandwich Day, and then I was out for a couple of days. The Chicago beef sandwich at Taste.
Okay.
The Chicago beef sandwich. Okay, the Cooper's Philly, ridiculous.